If you want my honest opinion, I think I do. If my skill set, if you're talking about my ring IQ and what I display in the ring, I feel like I am the best in the world, but I haven't displayed the later rounds. That's all what I kind of, I've never been in that sort of fight.
Great heavyweight of the next generation coming through. Ready? Good.
Joined the gym, he kept telling me that deep down you love boxing, and like at that point of time I really did feel like I hated boxing, but then I feel like he kind of like lit the fire back up, because it's like he showed me more punch, get punched. There's like a whole chess game to this boxing.
Moses has got a fantastic boxing IQ, and he's very, very coachable. You know, I think people underestimate how hard he works, which is something that I constantly reiterate to him. It's important never to underestimate that, because people will look at you and think that you just turn up, smash people up and walk off, but there's a lot of work that goes into that. He's put a lot of work in his whole life to
jab, full jab over the mirror.
Moses Itauma looks absolutely terrifying as he enters the final stage of camp ahead of his dangerous heavyweight clash with Filip Hrgovic. The young British sensation has spent weeks pushing himself through one of the toughest preparations of his career, and every training session seems to send the same message. Itauma isn't here to make friends. He's here to make history. At just 20 years old, Itauma knows this is one of the biggest tests of his career. Hrgovic represents arguably the most dangerous opponent he has faced.
Just think I like the Hrgovic fight, innit? You know, it's nothing personal to these fighters. It's nothing personal. I've always just tried to strive for greatness. And Hrgovic
so far, but Itauma insists there is nothing personal about the matchup. For him, it's simply another step toward greatness. He has always chased the biggest challenges, and Hrgovic is exactly the kind of opponent he believes a future champion must overcome. Despite all the noise surrounding the fight, Itauma appears remarkably calm. He regularly sees clips online of fans and boxing figures warning him about Hrgovic.
I'll go home, I'll open up my phone, I'm tagged in something. Hrgovic saying, I'm just a kid, and XYZ, that he would smash me up. I do find it funny how it says I'm just a kid, and he went, was it 11 rounds or 12 rounds? 12 rounds with someone I knocked out in the first round. It's not bad for a kid, innit?
Telling him that the Croatian heavyweight is going to destroy him. Instead of worrying, Itauma laughs it off. What seems to amuse him most is Hrgovic repeatedly referring to him as just a kid. Itauma's response is simple. This so-called kid has already been blitzing opponents, while Hrgovic has sometimes needed the majority of the scheduled rounds to get the job done. That confidence could become one of the most dangerous weapons Itauma brings into the ring. But Hrgovic isn't buying.
I don't know. I don't believe he's... for right now, I don't believe he's so good because he was never in trouble. He never really received a good punch. So we'll see. One thing is to have a good skills and to be a good boxer, and another thing is to be a warrior. So you have that or you don't have that. So you can't teach that. You can't learn that to be a warrior, to have a heart, to have a chin, to go down, to come back and continue to fight. So we'll see, you know, maybe he's next great and maybe he's just a hype job, you know. And because for right now he did amazing job, you know, for right now, but he never received a real punch. He never fought anyone who fight back.
Into the hype. The Croatian heavyweight acknowledges that Itauma has serious ability, but believes there is a huge difference between looking skilled and proving you are a true fighter. Hrgovic argues that Itauma has never been seriously hurt, never been forced to absorb sustained punishment, and never faced an opponent capable of making him fight through genuine adversity. And that's where Hrgovic believes the real question lies. What happens when Itauma finally gets hit by someone who can hit back? What happens when the punches start landing and the fight becomes uncomfortable?
No, it's probably more the threat. Like, is that I think Hrgovic is probably the most capable fighter I've faced, so he deserves the same training camp. Just, I don't know, I feel like I'm more up for it.
I'll throw him back to high school. Throw him out of I'm fucking animal, man.
Hrgovic wants to find out whether Itauma has the heart to stand up, recover, and keep fighting when everything stops going according to plan. In his eyes, Itauma could be the next great heavyweight, or he could simply be another heavily promoted prospect who hasn't yet been properly tested. Itauma, however, welcomes that challenge. He understands why Hrgovic represents a different level of danger, and that's precisely why this camp has been so intense. Respect doesn't mean fear. Itauma knows what Hrgovic brings, but he also believes his opponent has
in his career. Anytime you take a fight with the young lion to go box him, you're mad. They offered me that fight, they're like, oh, Derek, His Excellency wants you to fight Moses Itauma. I like, bad connection. I can't hear you, bad connection. Can't hear you, bad connection, yeah. I was like, and they try to call back, I'm like,
Do you ultimately think it's because it was just the wrong fight to take?
It's the wrong fight to take, yeah.
Weaknesses that can be exposed. The young heavyweight has even suggested that when the bell rings, Hrgovic will be reminded why Itauma has become one of the most talked about prospects in boxing. For Itauma, Hrgovic isn't the final destination. He's simply another obstacle standing between him and world championship glory. Former opponents are also getting involved in the debate. Derek Kazora has offered his own perspective, questioning whether Hrgovic should have taken a less dangerous assignment before stepping directly into Itauma's path. The concern is obvious.
When he was 37, boxing's a young man's game and he waits for nobody. So here's the opinion, you've heard it here first. Moses Itauma will wreck all them old men out of the division. Usyk, AJ, Miller, whoever there is who's old, Zhang, whoever else there is, Luis Ortiz, all these big names of the past are all a spent force. And even the world champion now, if they took my belts and give them to Usyk, Moses will wreck him. Because he's a young man versus an old man. An old man can't mess.
Itauma possesses the speed, movement, power, and explosiveness to create problems that many heavyweights simply aren't prepared to deal with. Chizora's comments only reinforce the growing belief that Hrgovic has taken an enormous gamble. And then there is Tyson Fury. The former heavyweight champion has repeatedly emphasized the brutal reality of boxing. Youth eventually catches up with experience. Fury believes the heavyweight division is entering a new era, and fighters like Itauma could be the young lions ready to take over.
At his age, and where he's at, he's got to be, I think. And you know, and what he's doing, and the quality of the opposition. You know, for a heavyweight, and you look at his resume, you look at his last 4 or 5 opponents. They're well-known names, big names. And he's done it in style, in absolute style. I can't think of any heavyweights who've fought that quality of opposition within 14.
According to Fury's view, established names such as Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz Jr., Gerald Miller, and other aging heavyweights are approaching the point where the next generation can begin pushing them aside. Even Alexander Usyk isn't immune to the changing landscape. For Fury, it's simple. Hungry young heavyweights eventually overtake tired veterans. The question isn't whether the transition will happen, but who will lead it. Promoter Frank Warren appears equally convinced about Itauma's potential. Looking at what the youngster has accomplished so early in his professional career, Warren has been stunned by the level of opposition Itauma has already handled. The promoter believes it is extremely rare to see a heavyweight face such dangerous competition so early and still look so destructive. Every performance has strengthened the argument that Itauma isn't simply another prospect. He's a potential future champion. And Hrgovic is the next major name standing in front of him. Even unified heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk has taken notice. When asked about Itauma, Usyk has praised the young fighter's ability and potential, pointing out that he is still only 20 years old and has an enormous future ahead of him. Coming from a fighter who has conquered the heavyweight division, that praise carries serious weight. Broadcaster Ade Oladipo also believes this fight could change Itauma's profile dramatically. She has suggested that the young heavyweight is still building his mainstream fan base, but it expects that to change if he delivers a statement victory over Hrgovic. However, she doesn't expect an easy night. Oladipo believes Itauma could face difficult moments and genuine adversity before ultimately getting his hand raised. If he could overcome those moments, the victory could finally convince the wider boxing public that Itauma is ready for the biggest names in the division. But Hrgovic has no intention of allowing that story to continue. He insists he is the stronger man and believes he can stop Itauma's rise before it truly begins. He isn't entering the fight simply hoping to survive or steal a decision. Hrgovic wants to make a statement and prove that the hype surrounding Itauma has arrived far too early. So now the final camp is complete. The training is done. The trash talk has been delivered. The predictions have been made.
Moses Itauma, is a very strong guy. But I'm a stronger guy and I'm gonna throw him out of the...
Itauma believes Hrgovic is simply another obstacle on the road to greatness. Hrgovic believes Itauma has never faced anything like him. One fighter is confident that the future belongs to him. The other believes he's about to expose the hype. When that bell finally rings, somebody's confidence is going to be tested, and somebody's doubts are going to be silenced. So what happens? Does Moses Itauma deliver another devastating performance and stop Filip Hrgovic, proving that the heavyweight division has a terrifying new force? Or does Hrgovic finally expose the weaknesses nobody has been able to find? Drop your prediction below, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this heavyweight showdown could be the fight that changes Moses Itauma's career forever.